Hey, so a couple of weeks ago, my sister April came over, not down. She lives in Jersey, so that's across from me. So she came over, and we hung out, out to lunch, brunch, had a really nice chat, nice time hanging out, and I started to film about that. See? So I'm heading down to a local place, Tubby Hook, to meet one of my sisters for brunch. Doing brunch with a sister. First time. So yeah, my sister April is she's actually in the city now. She's off the bus from Jersey, and she's on the local bus and making her way to Tubby Hook right now, which is just a few minutes away from me. And I'm walking there now. It's gonna be so much fun. So I met April once before. Talked about that and had a great time the last time we were together, last time we were together, and just looking to do some more talking. I mean, we have a lot of catching up to do, just like I do with all my sisters and brothers. So one at a time, that's the best way to do it. You know, one at a time with some one-on-ones whenever possible, and try to work on that bond, that connection that we missed for all these years. It's one step at a time. But I'm so excited. All right, I'm at Tubby Hook now, and April had a little mix-up, and she's in a cab and should be here in a moment. So I told her I was going to be outside and waiting for her. So brunch with my sister. All right, cool. I didn't get around to finishing editing that. Real life just crept up on me so much. But something else, besides the great time I had with April, something else came up last week. Believe it was on Wednesday. I was just getting ready to go on my lunch break. Now remember I told you the sister, alleged sister, could be a cousin on Facebook that blocked me? There was a misunderstanding, or so to speak. I was getting ready to go to lunch on Wednesday. I pick up my phone that was charging, and I see that little Facebook Messenger icon picture. And I'm like, what? No. And I look at it, and yes, it's her. So I went on my lunch break thinking about it. Didn't even open it up at first, because I was just so deathly afraid that at first I came on so confusing, and then I came on kind of strong, because those messages were matching the time period my emotions were in at the moment. But what am I going to do? I'm just going to leave it there, sitting there? This is what I've been waiting for. And then I noticed the other new close relatives, cousin, sister, we don't know yet, also sent me a message. I hadn't even written to her yet. I didn't know what to say. After writing Tom and John, which is so funny because my name is John and my best bud's Tom. But after writing Tom and John and not getting responses, not hearing anything back from the one new relative, I didn't even know what to write to the other one. I was sitting on it, so to speak, in my head. I didn't know what to write. And then come Wednesday, bam! So now I got two of them. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be the two worst messages I have ever read in my entire life. With both of these ladies screaming at me and attacking me, how dare I, trying to run some con or grift or whatever. But again, like I already asked, what am I going to do? This is what I wanted. And it's true, sometimes you get what you want and you either don't want it or you just feel hesitant about it. And it's the latter for me. So I opened up the first one. And it was very positive. Well, positive, let me pull that back a little bit. which I now saying that out loud makes it sound worse than it is. That's not why I'm pulling back or anything. So positive curiosity from both of them, actually, but especially when I hadn't written yet, because she seems to be a little bit more go-getter. In her own words, she's always been a tomboy. So, and she's also very curious about family. Speaking of which, I now know why my friends Elizabeth and Christine that were helping me decipher all this, I now know why they were having so much problem, or at least one of the reasons, so many problems with my biological paternal side. The two gentlemen in question, Tom and John, about being father and uncle, and along with their sister, the three of them were all adopted. They're all adopted. I mean, that is their last name. They weren't adopted at the same time, I believe I remember being told, but they were all adopted. So I'm sure that may have caused some confusion with my much more well-educated on the subject of DNA detectiving than why it could have been so confusing. So I talked to one in depth for several hours on the phone. The other one we've messaged back and forth, and both of the principal gentlemen involved in this, possible father, possible uncle, it looks like both of them are willing to maybe take a test and see which one it is. The one living in Florida, who my original thought was possibly more than likely maybe an uncle, thinks it might be him. He's willing to take a test. My two, whatever they are, cousins, sisters, also said they're willing to take a test. I mean, really all we need is one of the two brothers in question to really take a test. That would be the most solid way of telling it. Or either of the girls would also give us an answer. So, now here's the thing. So in March, I'm supposed to be going down to Florida to go meet my biological maternal brother Scott, big brother Scott. Well, actually, both my brothers are big brothers. And where he lives, and where one of my new paternal close relatives lives, along with uncle or father, is like a little less than 2 hours away from Scott. And she said when I told her that she'd be interested in meeting. Now, meanwhile, pictures have been flying back and forth between us. And seeing the pictures of both the brothers when they were younger has everyone I've been showing them in awe. But not as much as the picture I got sent yesterday from Thomas. Wow. My wife actually had to catch her breath. She quite literally gave out an audible gasp. She had to catch her breath again after seeing that picture. Now, apparently both these guys are twins. Not identical, but close enough looking that they have passed, or people have confused them with identical twins in their younger days. But I haven't seen a picture of John yet. Now here's something. If you go back to some of my earlier videos before I found anybody, remember, I was in this to find my siblings. I hardly even thought of my father, my biological father, at all. That's the truth. Not out of any animosity. It's just that was never a point of question to me. It was always my siblings. It always came down to my siblings. Who are my siblings? Growing up an only child, it never sat with me well. And in one of the earlier videos before I found everyone, I even said that if my mother was still alive, I wanted to thank her for having the courage of giving me up, because it gave me a great and beautiful life with two amazing people and an amazing extended family in a beautiful neighborhood. in a damn beautiful neighborhood with some great people here. But again, I never thought of the concept of my biological father. So this has been weighing heavy on me for several days. My dad, John Galvin, was a damn good man. He was well respected in this neighborhood that he grew up in, that I grew up in. He was the dad everyone wants, you know? He always encouraged me. He always believed in me no matter what it was I was doing. He was always behind it 100%. Same with my mom. The support, love, I mean everything. The knowledge the man gave me. He as a child, he gave me a toolbox of how society works. And he let me build upon that. So I've never been looking for a new father figure. There's never ever gonna be. Looking or not, there's never ever gonna be. But here we have a man who's alive as my biological father. And I have such amazing feelings about this. No, I don't feel guilty about it, if that's what you're thinking. I feel weird, I feel strange. I've never had to obviously wrap my head around thoughts, much less emotions like this before. But I am very curious to meet both these men, father and uncle, regardless of who either of them are. Because they're part of me. And I have the right to know who I am. I have the right to know what my story is. What's my origin? What's my pre-origin? We all have the right for that. So I'm glad that everyone involved now is still on this new side. I'm glad that they're all interested. That means the world to me. My prediction was right. Me and my wife's prediction was right. They had no idea about my existence. Unlike my matriarchal side, my maternal side, the Odells. These guys never knew about me. Allegedly, they had no idea or concept, and I have no evidence to prove otherwise to that. So I'm believing it because it is believable to me. But it's, one of the first things when I found my maternal side of the family, one of the first things I was asking was, who in the family is artistic? Because I've always been artistic. I've written stories. In fact, one of the main reasons I love being a dungeon master in Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games is because it allows me the opportunity to tell a story, to create and be in a creative, controlling situation. I love that. I do these videos, and I do my board gaming videos because I love creating. Where did I get that from? Wasn't really a lot of answers on the mother's side. But now here I find the one brother's a painter, the other's a photographer, wildlife photographer. And I see a connection through that I haven't found anywhere else. So there are points that I'm excited about. But this is so weird because it's not something I really planned. I thought about it lightly, but I dismissed it. And that was my problem in creating the scenarios I did, was that I dismissed it. Because I'm just way too happy with my own dad. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate another guy who's a good guy, who brought me into the world, and who I might have a connection with. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy about this. And it happened too because just during the last 2 weeks, something else I was building up information for was that I finally heard from some of my second cousins that are we know for a fact now are from my genetic paternal side. And I was thinking, oh, okay, so this is it. We're going to be like sort of backwards engineering, so to speak. I'll eventually get to a second cousin who might know a first cousin who will get me in touch. Might take a while, might take a few months, might not be to the end of the year, but this is possible. Which reminds me, I got to write them back, thanks for the help. Anything, keep in touch with them. Obviously, they're still relatives of mine, and a couple of them are still doing their own searches for things, so I want to keep myself available for them. Family first, right? So this is a turn of events that I did not foresee coming, I did not plan for. But it's good. It's a good sign. I'm happy with it. And last little note, the 4 pictures that Thomas sent me that were just taken yesterday, it really meant a lot to me that he was smiling in them. How could it not? All right, so this is going to be more information coming out, coming to me, new information about people, things happening. Wow. Just when things start to lull a little bit, right? Boom, there you go. All right, I'll be back. I'll keep more updates coming. Not that I'm trying to sell this. I'm not trying to push this or sell this, but I do realize that if I get up to 100 subscribers, I'll be able to do live streams. And I don't know, I just think that might be fun to do live streams on some of the road trips. But if it doesn't happen that way, it doesn't happen. I'm not pushing it, just throwing it out there. Thanks so much for following this, and keep up your own search. Don't ever stop. Don't ever give up. If it's in your heart, if these are answers you need, go get them. All right? Don't ever stop.